Welcome to Yong Tuition. I am sure many of you have watched the historical images taken by the Artemis 2nd, the flyby around the moon. Me too. And that's why I decided to make this short video in response. Unlike many people whose attention and excitement are focused on the visible pictures or moving pictures of the extraordinarily high resolution, I am primarily eager to know whether or not any thermal radiation spectra of the moon has been recorded during this mission, which is invisible by naked eyes. Why? Well, that is a talk all about. Let's go and have fun. Do you know someone had indirectly measured the surface temperature of the moon during the 1890s, almost a century before American astronauts landed on the moon? This guy. His name is Samuel Langley, and this is their monumental book entitled The Temperature of the Moon. Very is his co-investigator. In this book, the prediction is 353 Kelvin, although their early estimate is 318 Kelvin, which is very close to the summer temperature on the Earth. But how did they do that? Is their method reliable? Since their measurements were undertaken on the Earth, it is inevitable both the reflected solar shortwave radiation by the moon and the far infrared thermal radiation by the moon are partially blocked by the atmosphere, arising from infrared absorption by water vapor and other trace gases. As a result, it is very difficult, almost impossible, to reconstruct the thermal radiation spectra of the moon with a high level of confidence, because the exact absorption of the gases in the atmosphere remains unclear. Therefore, one wouldn't expect high accuracy in reported results by Langley and Very a century ago. More importantly, their calculations, or estimation rather, were essentially based on the assumption, namely, the moon emits as the ideal theoretical model called blackbody. According to the Wien and Planck, the thermal radiation spectra of blackbody can be formulated by the what is called Planck function. As I discussed in my recent talks, Wien is actually the first physicist who worked out the energy formula for the photon instead of Planck. Obviously, if the moon, which has no atmosphere, doesn't emit its thermal radiation as a black body, then more uncertainties in the reported surface temperature estimated by Langley and Very would be significantly different from the accurate mean surface temperature of the moon. Can you still follow me? In fact, the thermal radiation of the sun observed on the Earth is different from the Planck function or the blackbody radiation, especially in the shortwave regions, as shown here. So I wouldn't be surprised if the actual thermal radiation by the moon differs from the Planck function. Since the 1960s, many attempts have been made to measure the thermal radiation and its far infrared spectra with the advent of the satellite age. In particular, since the mission called Nimbus was launched by NASA in 1969 and onwards, starting from the Earth, then to Venus and Mars. But it seems very strange that no direct measurement of a complete thermal emission spectra of the moon can be found in the literature or any other archives an AI can search for. You can let me know if you can find any. Why do I think it seems strange? Because technically, one infrared spectra on board could easily make such a direct measurement from the satellite above the atmosphere when orbiting around the Earth or on the way to another planet. But they didn't. Without this piece of observation, most computer modelings for the Earth's atmosphere would have been in their stone age, although this sounds a bit exaggerated for some researchers. That's why my first question after I heard the news and watched the latest footage of the Artemis lunar flyby is this. Did the team record a thermal radiation spectra when they were behind the moon? For this is a golden opportunity to detect the real spectra of the moon due to its thermal radiation in far infrared range. So far, I have not found any report about this. I would be very disappointed if NASA didn't prioritize this task in their mission. But if you know any report, please add in the comment down there. Well, just a short remark. Meanwhile, if you like this talk and any other talks on this channel, please like, subscribe. Thank you. See you next time. The blue curve is theoretically calculated, which is to be explained soon. As you can see, the coordinates of the three planets, namely Mars, Earth, and Venus, can be quantitatively predicted. Is that beautiful? I remember my teacher said Newton was merely puzzled by the first push because he believed that his mechanics to fix the fundamental problems of the standard model, isn't it? Let's remember C.G. Ozawa, my favorite conductor, who created Arrhenius claims absorbent on his paper, page 260, without any direct experimental evidence, such as this one demonstrated with this Newton's cradle. As you can see, something must have been transferred among the metal balls. But what is this something?